Given how far apart elected leaders seem to be sometimes in the US, do you have hope for bipartisanship ahead?
I want to reframe what we call bipartisanship. In an era of deep polarization where there are no incentives in our political infrastructure to encourage people to cross the aisle and work together, then it's unlikely that we will see that. In fact, where there is greater harm done to your political fortunes for working together, it is not unusual that we find it hard to see people work together. But what I do believe in, what I've experienced myself, is that I have been able to work with Republicans to get good done, that we can give primacy to ideas without necessarily giving primacy to ideology. And I think that is absolutely possible. And what we have seen in the first 100 days of Joe Biden is the perfection of that notion, where we have seen, while Republicans may not have voted at the federal level for these bills, we have seen states led by Republicans and Democrats quickly take those dollars in and start deploying it for the good of the people they serve. Bipartisanship simply isn't a toting on the board of whose side voted for what. It is who gets served by what we do and whose ideas get incorporated into what we deliver. That is what we have to reset and reframe is our notion of bipartisanship until the incentives for voting together become stronger.
Finally, I want to ask you about some recent remarks you delivered for a commencement address. This is what you said in part to the class of 2021. You said, quote, "When we fail, we often feel the need to edit our ambitions to reflect our new fears." So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about your ambitions. Stacey Abrams, will you be running for governor again in Georgia in 2022?
I have not made decisions about what I'm running for yet, but what I do know is that, like my friend Lauren Underwood, I'm going to keep fighting for the things I believe in. Like the extraordinary Madeleine Albright, I'm going to stay engaged on the questions of our day and thinking about not only what's happening here in Georgia and in the South and in the United States, but across the world. And like President Sirleaf, I'm going to work hard to reinforce this idea and this belief that I hold at the core of my being, that democracy is sacred and it is how we make real every choice we have, every ambition we have. I may not have the job I sought in 2018, but I have the work that I've always wanted to do before me, and I'm going to keep focused on it, and I'll decide how I'm going to do it next. But for now, my focus is on making sure that we have a nation and a world that is worthy of the people who inhabit it, and that we do our best to make certain that every woman in this world knows that she can take the risk of doing more.